Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim Kahakadash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the Akim and Akhwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawah, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. I wanted to touch on this article with these world leaders, right? World leaders adopt AI governance declaration at India summit. So, got 57 sources as far as like the people that covered the article. You know, of course, it's going to be all through India Times, and have a YouTube video on it as well. World leaders, yep. So there's a lot of sources to it, so we know that it's real. You know, but this is stuff that you can look up. But you know, just found it interesting because these world leaders, when it comes to this AI, we know that it's digital, man. You know, it's the source of digital shit, basically. This is how they're pretty much going to run down and do, you know, pretty much the mark of the beast, the mark of the beauty and the beast, that chip, man. Social credit scores, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I was watching one of the elders out of New York earlier, and he was going up into how, you know, these ride share apps, things of that nature, when you sign up to get those particular jobs like Uber, DoorDash, things of that nature, you know, you're giving up a lot of information where they pretty much they doing a. I mean, Esau been doing background checks forever anyway, but you know this shit is getting a lot more detail where they can stop you from doing certain things. You know, like renting a car or getting on a flight or getting a hotel room or you know just basic shit. And then it's gonna come down to the point of, you know, you're not gonna be able to walk into a store because the doors are not gonna open unless you have that MOTB, man, within you. So it's all coming down to, you know, that. But let's get into a little bit of the article. I'm gonna grab a couple of scriptures and I'm just gonna go into this first part of it. India AI Impact Summit 2026 to adopt leaders declaration in New Delphi today. So you can see all the leaders here. The India AI Impact Summit 2026 is underway at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delphi. On the fifth day of the summit today, the leaders' declaration will be adopted, affirming collective commitments and outlining a shared roadmap for global AI governance and collaboration. High-level GPAI council meetings will take place. Member countries will review progress, align with priorities to strengthen multilateral cooperation, and on responsible and inclusive AI. Prime Minister Narendra Modi formally inaugurated the summits yesterday and welcomed world leaders. The summit is witnessing participation from over 500 AI leaders. See that? With more than 100 founders and chief executive officers, 150 academicians and researchers, and nearly 400 chief technical officers joining the event, following the overwhelming response from exhibitors, innovators, and visitors. The India AI Impact Expo will remain open till tomorrow. So that's a lot of people involved there. But you know, we know that all these countries, man, everybody is after the, you know, the digital race, man. It's a digital race, just like, you know, they had the space race and all this other stuff, because this is the next boom as far as civilization, so to speak. You know, and they, you know, all these countries are trying to get the drop. All of them want to, you know, try and come up and be first and all this other shit like that. You know, you even had Trump. You know, he ran on that campaign of not doing any of that shit, to him coming in signing a bunch of executive orders. They're not allowing the states, pretty much he signed an executive order to keep the states from being involved with the law of it, you know. So whatever he sets out is just basically going to be the rule for the 50 states, basically. But anyway, let's get the scriptures. In fact, I'll start with that 2 Corinthians 2:11. Because they'll run down on you, give you that game about how this is going to help society and Everything is going to be easy, and but guess what? You're going to need a universal basic income, like how Elon Musk said it, because AI is taking all the jobs. They talking about the immigrants taking the jobs. No, 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 no. It's AI that's about to take all your crucial jobs. You know, because when those so-called white people going into these fields, when no people, no white people's picking strawberries, picking carrots or whatever, cucumbers and tomatoes, peaches, pears. When those so-called white people doing them jobs, them not the jobs that. So what jobs are being taken from these so-called white people? It's these secretarial jobs. They're about to get off into taking you damn doctors' jobs, you lawyers' jobs, because you can go on AI and have and say to AI, or Chat GPT or some shit like that, and you can draw up a contract right through Chat GPT. All you got to do is tell Chat GPT what you're trying to do, and it'll implement it, and it'll break it down for you and simplify it. And all you got to do is just go and print your shit out. Hold it in a PDF file or just shoot the email out. They can electronically sign the shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's getting rid of a lot of different things, man. So this is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So again, when you going, let me get going to this apocrypha real quick. When you go into the scriptures of them, when the scripture says never trust thine enemy, let me go back. It really, hey, you can't trust these people. Because this shit has created nothing but a bunch of lazy ass people anyway. These people don't want to get up and really go nowhere. You got this last generation of workers pretty much. But this new generation with these, these people, man, everybody is doing digital shit, trying to do digital shit, and they cutting out the middleman. They like, no, we don't need you. We have robots now that can flip burgers, drop fries, you know, pour up the soft drinks, pass that shit out of a goddamn drive-through window, and people and keep and the shit gonna be just like how they want it made too. It's more likely probably gonna look just like how it look on the menu, as opposed to you got people in these restaurants that don't give a fuck about how they prepare your food, man. That industry is done. As far as that goes, you ain't gonna have nobody to fuss with. Nobody's gonna be jumping the counter over biscuits and sauce and extra ranch sauce and trying to whoop somebody ass over. You missed my bag is missing a burger. Nope, all that's done. They can do all that with AI systems, digital systems, with the robots moving at 24-hour pace any time of the day. They don't have to take no breaks. They don't have to take no bathroom breaks. They don't have to take no cigarette breaks. They don't have to take no no days off. They don't need no sick time. And this is what Esau is doing, man. But this is Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. I mean, no, 12 and 10. Salakia. 12 and 10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching. Yeah, bro. Salakia. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Right? So they're going to basically tell you, hey, look, man, this is for the future. This is for your best interest. Take this MOTB, this micro to the chippy chip, and the people are going to be able to see your medical records. You're not going to have to stand in line all a long time. You're just going to be able to zap on through. Something happened to your child, if they get kidnapped, we can track them down immediately. All this stuff. I mean, it's just it's all over the place, man. It's all together. It's all the infrastructure is there, and this shit is moving fast, bro. But the average person, they get up, they go to work, you come home, you might watch a little TV, you're watching your little favorite shows or whatever, In the meanwhile, these people are pulling this shit off, man. You can wake up tomorrow and it's probably hundreds of apps being made per day, man. You can go into the app store and you can just it's shit forever, man. In the app store, man. Paid apps. A lot of people like the free apps. But when you go into them paid apps, you spend it's apps in the app store, man, that can cost you anywhere between, 50 to $100, depends on what it is that you're trying to get. You know. So this thing is moving, man. Let's go to Revelation. You think all these sovereign leaders are getting together? Because matter of fact, what the article said was, we can't leave this technology in the hands of just a couple of billionaires. Okay, so this is Revelation 13, verse 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So you're not going to be able to buy or sell or move about in society, man. You know, they got the license plate readers, and they, you riding through the city, and your shit don't have no plate on it. You know, that little paper plate in the back when they first get on. I don't know, certain places they give you like a little temporary plate until you get your shit from the state in the mail or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But overall, well, they give you that at DMV, Slovakia. But all that driving, because they can spot you anywhere. They using the Ring doorbell cams, man. And they don't need your permission to go into the Ring doorbell cam. They can actually get into your Ring doorbell cam and watch you walk in and out of your house. You know, they can pick up on your conversations. We already know with these cell phones, they can easily turn on a microphone. It's nothing for these people to actually go into your cell phone and set your ass up to look like you a damn child PRED or child pred, man. They can set your shit up with a bunch of damn pictures or a bunch of videos and hey, look, watch this movie, The Enemy of the State, with Will Smith and Gene Hackman. And that movie came out, I think, in the 90s. But that shit, in matter of fact, it's another one called Eagle Eye. I can't think of this one guy. He played in Transformers. That's another one too. That's dope. But they, when they, Minority Report with Tom Cruise, where pretty much they was doing pre-crime. Basically, they come and arrest your ass before you commit the crime, because they already have it in their data system where he's more than likely to do this. Let's go get him. And they was dropping out of helicopters and all kinds of shit in that movie, man. But let's get chapter 14. And see, these leaders, man, they're on the move, because they know that they have but a short time. Matter of fact, let me jump back to 12. And really, this is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's at the front of the race. With your Elon Musk, your your Zuckerbergs, your Peter Thiels, your all those different But you got these other nations, these heathen. See, they have this mentality of, we have to keep up with the so-called white man, because they're drinking of that wine of Babylon. That's why they all have military might, like how they do. They got these nuclear missiles and weapons and things like that. They had to keep up with Esau, because they understand if they don't, Esau going to slay their asses too. And they don't want what happened to us to happen to them. But none of them actually stick up for us, because when you look at these leaders, ain't no Jakes there. Who's there representing the real Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? No fucking body, bro. Oh, out of all those tech, you might have had a Jake here or there, you know what I'm saying? But they're not the ones that's in control of these huge companies, man. And these data centers, man, sucking every damn thing out of the earth. This is Revelation 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. See? Matter of fact, let me go back to the article. I'm going to show you that spot where, right here it says, this part right here, bullet point number 3 down here at the bottom here. Let me just highlight it. It says, UN Secretary General Guterres called for, see how much is that, $3 billion global AI funds, saying AI's future cannot be left to the whims of a few billionaires. See? Here you go. Here's the leaders right here. You think any Jake? Ain't no Jake in here. These aren't no Jakes. These are the heathen. Matter of fact, these are the nations that are, a portion of the nations that's in Psalms 83 that the Lord hate. That hate the Lord, actually. The enemies of the Lord, man. Right? So that was pretty much it on that article, though, in that particular one. Let me go back, though. Let me see what's in this one. Oh, this is the YouTube video, I think. Okay, well, no, we don't have to go into that. Let's see. The declaration outlines a voluntary framework for expanding AI access, reinforcing national sovereignty, and promoting responsible development. So let's see what's in here. So, oh, okay, it's another. Oh, that's the same thing. That YouTube video. I could have played some, but we'll kind of, we don't have to really go into it like that, to keep from the copyright hookups. But again, like I said, there's 57 sources in here. Let's see. Yeah, we always advise, man, hitting these alternative news sites. That's the reason why I like this particular app, this Chat GPT, because it has its own news section. This one is in tech policy. Let's check this out. What's at stake, right? What's at stake as the global leaders gather for India's AI summit? A lot of this shit they be want you to kind of, I don't want to buy shit. Okay, India is hosting the flagship AI Impact Summit this week in capital city of New Delhi. The 5-day event with over 35,000 registrations from more than 100 countries, see that? Is expected to see participation from heads of government, ministers, top tech, AI company CEOs, policymakers, civil society groups, and many others from around the globe. The buzz is so high, with so many high-profile visits, that some of the luxury hotels in the city center have shot up to $20,000 a night. God damn. Prime Minister Modi welcomed the global leaders on Monday, sharing his enthusiasm about bringing the world together to discuss AI. The AI Impact Summit will enrich global discourse on diverse aspects of AI, such as innovation, collaboration, responsible use, and more. This event marks the first time for a country in the global south to host a major AI summit of this scale. Hosting the summit in India, the first in the global south, highlights a shift towards solutions shaped by emerging economies. See that? It's going into that money, man. Offering an opportunity to examine AI governance that serves everyone, not just a few, said Jules Polanetsky, CEO of a think tank, Future of Privacy Forum. Well, you ain't gonna have no privacy once all this goes down. He flew in from Washington, D.C. to Delphi to speak at the summit. See, it's gonna always, they gonna, these Edomites, these Babylonians gonna be at the top of some of this shit. They gonna always be there. It says for decades, policy experts say the framework and guardrails around emerging technologies have been shaped primarily within advanced economies. With this summit broadening that circle, the summit signals that AI governance can no longer be designed in isolation from the aspiration and constraints of the global majority. See, this is a new world, man, order type of deal. All these people are in on the hookup, man. Okay, it says Dhruv Garg, a partner at public policy research organization Indian Governance and Policy Project, told Tech Policy, okay, it is about recalibrating voice and influence in a domain that will define economic and political power for decades. See, AGAP has organized a few pre-summit events and has planned a panel for the summit. Okay. Oh, yeah. There's quite a bit in this article. Billionaires, tech CEOs, and ministers. Says everyone who is anyone in the global AI and India AI ecosystem is expected to be there. Yep. Everybody except Israelites. See, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We don't have no part in the world. That's why let me see that scripture that goes. No, I'm in here. I want to come back though. Let's just move with the spirit here. Wisdom, no. Second Esdras, 6 and like 54. So let's start there. Okay, and it reads, and after these, Adam, Salakia, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So the Lord, he chose us, but he created all these people. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. See, the world was made for us, but look at all these leaders that's running shit, and we don't have no say in none of it. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So these people are nothing to the Lord, man. See, it says, as for the other people. So the Lord, he chose a people out of all the nations that he created. But guess who got next? Jake got next. We got next, man. Verse 57. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. So they're devouring us, man. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. Well, the Lord was the one that gave us into their hands. Prophetically, but also, just for disobedience, because Jake is hard-headed as hell, man. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long should this endure? So this is what Esdras wanted to know. And basically, let me jump up here to verse 9. Let me start at verse 7. Because this is really Esau, at the top of this shit that's going on, man. Mainly from the top of them tiny tops, man. The Jerry curl sideburn people. Second Esdras 6 and 7, it says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? See, these people have no idea that they're in. That they really planning in vain. That shit is not going nowhere. And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. See? For Esau is the end of the world, which is the so-called white man. That's a biblical name for the so-called white man, Esau. Edom, or Idumeans in the Greek. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See? So our world is while they're doing this right here, they have no idea that the Lord is building us up. They don't have no bunch of time to do this shit, man, like that, but they're rushing. That's what we read in Revelation 12 and 12. They know that they have but a short time. But let's go back to Revelation, because I want to go to 14. Because you, Jake, you better not let these people put shit in you, man, and he becomes your perpetual master, because that's exactly what's going to be going down. You're going to become a perpetual slave to his ass, and he's going to be, and the Lord is going to destroy your ass right along with him. Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, see, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh. You don't want no parts of that. Which is poured out without mixture. Ain't gonna be no chaser with this, man. Into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Whew. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that kept the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai, which those are the true names of the Father and Son. Yahweh, meaning he exists, that's the Father, and Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Son, which means that he's the Savior or deliverer in the Paleo Hebrew. Now, Revelation 16 and 2, me and the Ak was talking about this last night. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. So it's gonna be an ugly sight, man. For you gonna know who took this shit, man, because they're gonna be some ugg mugs. But I mean, that was pretty much it. I didn't want to keep it long. I just seen this article, and see, this is the big race. But this ought to let you know, hey, who the children of Israel are. Because the children of Israel, we're never in these pictures, man. We're never in the pictures. Look at this. These are all heathen. And don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? It's not a skin color thing, because Jake is scattered amongst these people. And he's all these nations, because Jake has been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. But and this is just one side of it. These are just the leaders from this particular, area of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't even have Moab in there, so-called China. I don't think so, at least. They could have sent a representative, but I doubt it, because China pretty much is skating on all of them. As far as a lot of this AI stuff, man. They already have a social credit score for their citizens. I mean, shit, it's rough living over there if you're not gonna be a goddamn complete robot. You gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. You walking around over there in China, man. Them people get up, they appear to be happy with the shit though. I mean, but that's all that they know. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and I will say this, even though they're heathen, they have a better system than these Americans can never have. Because at least they kind of move as a unit. They kind of move as a body in a sense. And that's the way that the children of Israel are supposed to move with Yahweh Shai as our head. See, they take orders from up top and everybody move accordingly. Anybody getting outside of that shit, they getting cut off. And that's pretty much, the way that the children of Israel are going to run things, or, it should have been ran, so to speak. But, once the law, statutes, and commandments are written on our minds and hearts, we're going to be okay. But the rest of you nations, you're going to follow suit. We're going to be on y'all fucking head. You ain't going to just be running around out here talking about you a Republican or Democrat or independent or fucking liberal or you're LGBTQ. I believe in this. I would know your ass is. You can believe. No, you ain't gonna be able to believe what you want to believe. You're gonna come under the rules and regulations of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man, through His people, and it's gonna be vigorously beaten into y'all asses too. At that. So I'm ending out there, man. I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwam Yasha Allah and the Baba Ball.